Alright, we are back with another wine filtering video. This is going to be the green apple peach and the orange mango wines. In a minute, you're going to see why it took so long for me to get this video out. It starts off as a continuation of the previous video where I filtered the tropical and the dragonberry. My goal was to filter all 4 wines in the same day. However, again, these videos started just about a month after my jaw surgery, and in a minute you're gonna see when, why, and how I became overwhelmed and did not finish this video at that time. As you can see, I had good intentions. I started my setup with both the orange mango and the green apple peach wine on the table, and in a moment you're gonna understand again just why I did not continue. That one that I just set up there is the green apple peach. You can see it seems that everything starts off as usual. I am setting things up, untangling the siphon, and I'm gonna clean carboy out, and yeah, there's my filter. And here is where I always struggle at, trying to get the siphon started without making a mess. And it wasn't as successful as I hoped. In the beginning, it started off being successful, and you can see it flowing very nicely into the clean carboy. And I'm doing everything I can to avoid the sediment at the bottom. And yeah, this was recorded 3 months ago, so I don't remember all the details without sitting here watching it with you guys, but I believe that filter began to overflow. More than likely, that's what happened, because if you look very closely, it's dripping down into the clean carboy kind of slow. Right here is where it kind of becomes obvious that there is some problems. That filter is not filtering correctly. So I'm taking the end of the tube and trying to move the sediment around, but as you can see, it still stopped flowing. So I am trying to seek out other alternatives to get things going again. And unbeknownst to me, the hose came loose, and that's when wine started to spill everywhere. If you look closely at the table is soaking wet. Since I had a little bit in the glass, I went ahead and gave it a little taste, and judging by my face, it was a bit bitter. So I knew I was going to have to add some sweetener. I like a sweeter wine, so I usually add some simple syrup to all of my wines once they go through the first filtering. And in the second filter, I'll taste it again to see if I need to add even more. And my back is turned, and you see the holes just drop down. It doesn't look like it's flowing out of the upper carboy, but whatever's in that tube is all over the floor, because you're going to see me have to mop up in just a moment. As you can see, I'm expecting the filter to kind of get an idea of what's going on, what's causing it to clog, but there is no obvious reason. It is a bit of sediment in the filter, so I'm doing what I can to get the wine that's in there out before I go wash the filter out again. Alright, so now that I've washed the filter out again, we're going to give it another try, and once again we're struggling to get the siphon started hopefully without making a mess, but I could tell by the way that tube is set, that's why I made a mess. As you can see, it's flowing everywhere. It does appear to be flowing a little bit better now that I washed the filter out, but you can already tell I got a mess to clean up. And that would be why I became overwhelmed, because at this point this is my third wine that I was trying to filter that day. And so the orange and mango wine went back on the shelf, and I did another day, which you'll see later in this video. You probably can see the frustration in my face, but eventually I got it going, and you're gonna see here in a minute that I got everything filtered through and put into the clean cardboard. You probably can tell by how cloudy that lower cardboard looks that I didn't do a good job of not getting as much sediment as I normally do. So yeah, this one definitely needs to sit on the shelf for another 6 to 8 weeks before we did our second filtering. Here I am back again after washing the filter for probably the third or fourth time, and we're gonna go ahead and try to finish this. Now here's where you probably get an idea of just how much of a mess it made, because you see I'm moving that lower cardboard to wipe down my table, because I didn't want the wine to soak into the table for one, and for two, it's hard to work when there's a mess everywhere. At least it is for me. So reckon the excess wine or spillage onto the floor, and I had to keep changing my tile out or cleaning my tile out to get it all up. And then I'm gonna come back and mop up in just a moment here. You see, eventually I got some paper towel to go ahead and get as much off the table as possible. And now I'm mopping up the floor. Again, you probably can see it in my face, but at this point I'm very much so over it, so I was just trying to hurry up and get through with this particular wine, and I'll do with the other one on another day. So at this point I'm so frustrated because of the spillage as well as how cloudy the lower carboy is. I just want to get done with it. And I've already wasted enough wine, so I'm trying to get as much out of the upper carboy as possible without throwing away too much more. As you can see, I just couldn't wait to get rid of that carboy because I was over it. I know I keep saying that, but I was very frustrated in dealing with this. I was already not feeling well, considering that this was like a month after surgery. I was probably in a bit of pain at that point. I was over standing up over this table doing this. I don't know what I was thinking about trying to do 4 wines at one time anyway, especially when I was going through my recovery. So now I'm adding my the stabilizers. So the Bentonite, the Campden tablet, potassium, whenever you see me turn around and reach over my shoulder, I'm getting hot water out of the water dispenser that's back there. For whatever reason, Bentonite is a really hard clay type of substance. So when you put it in water, it wants to clump together instead of dissolve. So I'm just trying to make sure that as much of it as possible dissolves before I pour it into the wine, and then I do this quite often. I'll go back and whatever didn't dissolve the first time, I'll try to dissolve it in hot water again. Because you see all that space that's left in the cardboard, I'm going to eventually fill it up with water anyway. Backwatering the wine also helps bring down the alcohol content. So usually my wines start off at like a 13 to 19% alcohol content, and I try to bring it down to as close to 6% as possible. 6%, 3 to 6%. this point, I was just excited to be done with this wine. Again, this is my third wine that day, so I was over it. I was ready to be done, and I turned off the camera and cleaned up my mess, and we'll come back to the orange mango wine on another day. That box that you see there is actually bottles of the banana and the orange wine, the first two wines that I made. I bottled those up in between these two videos, and I wanted to do a video on bottling, but I was so overwhelmed that I just decided to go ahead and bottle without videoing it. However, currently I have the strawberry watermelon and the mixed berry ones that are ready to be bottled. So as soon as I get some more bottles, I will be making that video. I will actually video that process for you guys. You can see right away that I'm taking a different approach with this wine. I am getting my hot water right now to go ahead and dissolve my bentonite and my potassium and my Campden tablets. You can see I even approached it differently as I started the siphon. I made sure the tip of the siphon was in the filter before I started the pump, and I left enough at the end under my hand so that hopefully it doesn't come out. And right now I'm checking my hot water solution to see it, make sure that bentonite is dissolving. Here we are several weeks later, probably about 3 or 4 weeks later. I finally got back around to doing that orange mango wine. So there it is. I'm setting everything up. As you can see, this didn't take as long as the previous wine. The apricot boy is almost empty already, and I did it without making a huge mess all over the place. So there's that. I am excited to not have to do this for a while. At this point, by this point, I had already went back to work, so I was doing this on an off day, just because I knew it needs to be done. And now I'm trying to, again, empty the siphon without making more mess, since I did such a good job, but not making a mess again. Once I had all of that cleaned up, I came back and added my stabilizers. Again, in that glass measuring cup, I have my bentonite, my potassium, and my Campden tablets. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour that through the filter as well, in hopes of avoiding getting any large clumps of undissolved bentonite into the wine. And there were a couple clumps in the filter, so I believe I poured hot water down into the filter to kind of dissolve those clumps as well, since I had the back water anyhow. Now actually here I am adding my simple syrup, and then on top of the simple syrup I added the hot water to continue to dissolve that syrup as well as any bentonite that was in the filter. But that's pretty much it. Once I was done here, I added this one to the shelf to sit with the other 3 wines. And now, like I said, it's been 2 to 3 months since I did any of these wines, so it's time for all 6 wines that's left at this point to go ahead and go to the next stage. So I got 2 wines that need to be bottled and 4 wines that need to go through their second filtering. So go ahead and get all of that taken care of over the next few weeks or so. Definitely the 4 wines that needs to be filtered. I'm gonna try to get those filtered before the end of the year, and then sometime in January we'll order some bottles and get those 2 wines bottled in a video on that. Also, since I'm not going to be relocating anytime soon, I'm going to go ahead and start making wine again in January. So I think I have a list of wine flavors that I want to try, but if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell to get all my post notifications.